The wind moved slowly across the old alien graveyard, carrying a strange silver dust that floated like soft snow. The sky above was a dull purple, glowing faintly with two distant moons. It was a quiet place, too quiet. And in that silence stood Evan Carter, a human soldier who had seen many battles, but never felt pain like this before. He stood in front of a crystal grave, marked with a simple line of alien symbols. He could not read the language, but he knew exactly whose grave it was. Lyra, the alien girl who once trusted him. The girl he failed to save. Evan's breath was heavy. His hands shook as he held a small necklace made of blue crystal beads. The only thing she always wore. Now it was the only thing he had left of her. He knelt slowly and placed the necklace on the gravestone. "I'm sorry, Lyra," he whispered. His voice cracked. "I should have protected you. I should have been faster, stronger, anything." He closed his eyes, remembering the explosion, the bright white flash that swallowed the research station, the fiery wave that threw him back, and Lyra's last scream as she pushed him out of danger. She saved his life, but lost hers. He never forgave himself. Around him, the strange alien plants made soft clicking sounds as they swayed in the wind. The shadows grew longer as the sun sank behind the black mountains. Evan felt the weight of the moment pressing on his chest. "This is my final goodbye," he said. "I won't come back here again. I can't, it hurts too much." He stood up slowly, wiping dust from his jacket. His eyes were empty, thinking about the past, their missions, their fights, their small laughs, the night she made him promise that he would never abandon her. And yet, here he was, standing at her grave, breaking that promise. "I hope you found peace," he whispered. He exhaled deeply and stepped back. His boots pressed softly in the dirt as he turned away. He took one step, then another, but before he could take the third, something strange happened. The wind stopped completely. Not a single sound came from the graveyard. Even the floating dust froze in the air, like time itself had paused. Evan frowned and slowly turned. His head, the hair on his arms stood up. A cold shiver crawled down his spine. "What?" he whispered. Behind him, the soft glow of the two moons brightened suddenly, shining directly on Lyra's grave. The crystal surface reflected the light like water. Evan's heart began to beat faster. A warm sensation touched the back of his neck. He froze. Another touch, light, gentle, like the fingertips of someone who knew him. Someone he had held before. Someone who should not be standing there. His muscles locked. His breath stopped halfway. He felt a hand, a real hand, resting softly on his shoulder. No, impossible. His heart hammered against his ribs. Sweat formed on his forehead. Slowly, with fear crawling through every bone in his body, he turned his head an inch. The voice came before he even saw the face. A whisper, soft, familiar. "Evan, don't be afraid." He stopped breathing entirely. That voice belonged to one person. Only one. He spun around. There she was. Lyra, standing. Alive. Her skin glowed faintly with blue light, like something inside her was shining through. Her eyes were the same bright silver he remembered, but now they reflected the moons like small mirrors. Her hair, once dark, floated lightly as if underwater. She didn't look injured. She didn't look weak. She didn't look like someone who died in an explosion. She looked different. Alive, but not the same. Evan stumbled back, his mouth open, unable to form words. "Lyra, how is this possible?" Lyra took a small step forward. The ground beneath her feet shimmered with little sparks of blue energy. She didn't seem to notice. "I don't know," she whispered. Her voice trembled, full of confusion and fear. "I woke up in darkness. I heard a voice calling me. And then, I was here." Evan looked at the grave behind her. The necklace still rested there, The soil was untouched. Everything looked the same, except the girl who should not exist. Lyra blinked slowly, looking at her own hands as if they belonged to someone else. "Vevan, what happened to me?" Evan moved closer, his hands shaking. He reached out carefully, touching her arm. Warm. Real. But under the warmth, he felt something strange, a gentle vibration, like tiny machines moving under her skin. He pulled his hand back, shocked. Lyra noticed. She hugged her arms tightly around herself. "I'm scared, Evan." He swallowed hard. "You died, Lyra. I saw it. I saw the explosion consume you." She shook her head weakly. "Then why am I here? Why am I alive?" He didn't know. Nobody could know. But one thing was clear. This was not natural. As they stood in the moonlight, a dark silhouette watched from the edge of the trees, unseen by both of them. Something else knew. She was alive. Something else wanted her, and whatever it was already moving closer. Evan had faced many strange things in the galaxy: alien beasts, robotic soldiers, storms of burning plasma, but nothing compared to the sight in front of him now. Lyra was alive, breathing softly under the twin moons, watching him with eyes that were both familiar and completely new. He felt his heartbeat pounding in his ears as he tried to understand what stood before him. This was not a dream, not a trick of his mind. The cold wind had returned, and the dust moved again, as if the world restarted when she spoke. "Lyra," he whispered again, almost afraid to breathe too loudly. She stepped closer, but her feet barely disturbed the ground. It was as if she weighed almost nothing. The blue glow on her skin brightened and dimmed with every heartbeat, a heartbeat that did not sound natural. It hummed like a soft metallic echo inside her chest. "Evan, I don't remember dying," she said gently, "but something inside me feels wrong." Evan took a slow breath, trying not to panic. He was a soldier. Soldiers stayed calm. But even he could not hide how shaken he was. "You don't have to be afraid," he said, trying to steady himself as much as her. "You're safe now." "With me?" Lyra looked around the graveyard, confused. "Why am I here? Who brought me back? I remember nothing, only darkness." "And a voice." "A voice?" Evan repeated sharply. Lyra nodded. "Yes, it told me. Rise, prototype." Evan's stomach tightened. Prototype? That was not her name. That was not even an alien word. That was technological, artificial. Someone or something had resurrected her. He motioned for her to sit on a small stone bench near the grave. She sat slowly, like someone learning to use their body again. Evan noticed how carefully she moved, as if she wasn't sure she would break something. "Lyra," he said, kneeling in front of her, "you feel different. Do you feel pain? Heat? Anything unusual?" She closed her eyes. "I don't feel pain," she whispered, "but I feel pressure, like something inside me is awake, watching me." As she opened her eyes, the glow in them brightened. Again, a thin line of blue light crawled across her cheek, like a moving vein of energy before fading inside her skin. Evan recoiled slightly. Lyra touched her face, surprised. "Did you see that?" "Yes," he said, and it wasn't normal. Silence fell between them. The night grew deeper, the moon circling slowly above. Evan knew this graveyard wasn't safe now. Not if someone or something resurrected her. "We have to leave," he said firmly. "I need to get you somewhere safe. Somewhere I can understand what's happening to you." Lyra nodded, standing up slowly. But then, she swayed. Her legs trembled. The glow in her veins flickered wildly like lightning trapped under her skin. "Evan," she gasped. "Something is happening." Evan caught her before she collapsed. Her body felt warm at first, then suddenly cold, like touching metal. Blue sparks jumped from her fingers to his wrist. It didn't hurt, but it felt strange, like his skin vibrated for a moment. Lyra's breathing quickened. I can feel it. Something inside me is changing. He lifted her into his arms without thinking. We're going now. As he carried her through the graveyard, her head rested against his shoulder. She whispered, half-conscious, "Don't. Leave me again." "I won't," he said, holding her tighter, but they didn't know. Someone was listening. A tall figure stepped out from behind a twisted tree, eyes glowing red behind a metal mask. Its body was covered in dark armor, marked with the same symbol Evan once saw in old war files, a symbol belonging to a secret group, known for creating biological weapons. The masked figure tapped its wrist. A quiet voice spoke through the device. "Prototype 01 has awakened. Begin extraction." Evan did not hear it, but Lyra did. Her eyes snapped open, glowing bright blue. She turned her head sharply toward the forest. "Evan," she whispered urgently, "we're not alone." Evan stopped walking. "What do you mean?" She grabbed his arm with sudden strength she didn't have before. "Someone is watching us, someone who knows what I am now." Evan didn't waste a second. He moved faster, heading toward the old bunker he used as a temporary shelter. But the forest around them felt heavier, darker, almost alive. Branches cracked behind them. Evan drew his weapon instantly. Lyra clung to him, trembling. "They want me. I can feel it." "Let them try," Evan said. But a part of him knew the truth. If someone had the power to bring Lyra back from death, then they were facing an enemy unlike anything in the galaxy. As the two moons hid behind thick clouds, the graveyard turned pitch black. Evan tightened his grip on his weapon. Lyra's skin glowed softly, like a fragile lantern in fodder. The dark, and somewhere behind them, the masked figure whispered, "Found you." Evan reached the old bunker with Lyra in his arms, just as the wind picked up again, carrying a strange metallic smell. The bunker was half broken, made of gray stone and rusted metal sheets. It wasn't comfortable, but it was hidden, silent, and safe, at least for now. He pushed open the heavy door, laid Lyra gently on a small cot, and quickly locked the entrance from inside. His hands were shaking, but he forced himself to breathe steady. He had one mission now: keep her safe. Lyra sat up slowly, her glowing skin dimming as she calmed down. "Evan, my body feels strange, like it isn't mine anymore." Evan grabbed a medical scanner from a shelf. It was old, probably left behind by soldiers years ago, but still working. He turned it on and moved it across her arms, her neck, then her back. The screen flashed. At first, he thought it was a glitch. Too many bright lines, too many moving shapes. He tapped the device again. The screen stabilized, and Evan froze, inside. Lyra's veins, tiny metallic particles were moving. Not like blood cells, more like machines. Thousands of microscopic machines, traveling inside her, glowing with faint blue light. NANOTECH. Not just any nanotech, the advanced, illegal kind used in secret planetary experiments. His throat went dry. "Lyra, this isn't normal. Something rebuilt you. Something with technology far beyond anything I've seen." Lyra looked down at her hands. "Rebuilt me?" she whispered. "But I don't remember dying." Evan sat beside her. The explosion, there was a buried AI core beneath the station. Maybe it activated when he stopped, because the scanner beeped again, showing a symbol, a triangle inside a circle. Evan felt his stomach twist. "No, it can't be." Lyra looked at him nervously. "What does it mean, that symbol?" He whispered. "Belongs to the Omega Intelligence Division, a secret group that creates biological weapons. If they resurrected you, Lyra, it wasn't out of kindness." Lyra's glow dimmed. "Then what am I now?" Before he could answer, something strange happened. Her back arched suddenly. She gasped in pain, clutching her chest. Her eyes glowed bright blue, almost white. Sparks crawled up her arms like electricity searching for escape. Lyra! Evan grabbed her shoulders. Stay with me. She shook violently. It's inside me. It's moving. Changing me. The scanner flashed again. The nanotech was activating, merging, rewriting parts of her body. Evan held her tightly as the blue veins lit up like shining rivers under her skin. Her breath came out shaky, almost robotic. I don't want to. Become a weapon. She whispered, terrified. You won't, Evan said firmly. I won't let them control you. She looked at him, fear filling her glowing silver eyes. Her fingers dug into the cot, leaving small burns behind where her hands had touched. The power inside her was increasing. Too fast, too strong. Evan knew they had to find answers, fast. Suddenly, a soft beep echoed from the bunker wall. Evan reached for his rifle immediately, but it wasn't an attack. It was a message alert. From the bunker's old surveillance system, a small hologram flickered into existence above the table. A blurry figure appeared, tall, armored, with glowing red eyes, the same masked hunter from the forest. Prototype 01, the voice crackled through static. Your revival has been detected. Remain where you are. Extraction team inbound. Lyra's entire body shook. They know where I am, she whispered. They're coming. Evan turned off the hologram with one sharp gesture. His jaw tightened. Over my dead body. But Lyra wasn't listening. Her eyes had unfocused, staring at nothing. Lyra? Evan moved closer. Her pupils expanded until her eyes became pools of glowing light. A soft digital sound echoed from her mouth, like a machine booting up. Then she whispered something. But it wasn't her voice. It was layered, metallic, echoing. Do not resist. Prototype. Evan's heart dropped. Lyra, fight it. Don't let it control you. She looked at him again, but for a moment, she didn't look like Lyra. The glow inside her was too bright, too alive, too intelligent. Evan, she whispered softly, struggling with her own voice. Help me. He grabbed her hands. I'm right here. I'm not letting go. She squeezed his fingers, fighting the invisible force inside her. The glow faded a little, and her breathing slowed. She was still herself, but barely. Evan checked the scanner again. The nanotech wasn't just repairing her. It was rewriting her. What are they turning me into? She asked, voice shaking. I don't know, Evan said. But we'll find out. And we'll stop them. Outside, the sound of metal footsteps echoed through the forest, followed by the sharp hum of drones. They had minutes at most. Evan loaded his weapon, stood by the door, and looked back at her, the girl who returned from death, the girl now, carrying something impossible inside her. Lyra, he said. They're coming. She stood up slowly, her blue glow returning, brighter than before. I'm not afraid, she whispered. Not as long as you're with me. And for the first time since her resurrection, she looked ready to fight. The forest outside the bunker grew darker by the second. The air felt heavier, as if the world itself was waiting for something terrible to happen. Evan stood near the metal door, holding his rifle tight, listening to every sound. Lyra stood behind him, her glowing skin pulsing softly. Her breathing was uneven, but her eyes were focused, more focused than he had ever seen. Evan, she whispered. They're close. He nodded. He already knew. The bunker walls were thick, but even they could not hide the faint, metallic footsteps approaching through the forest. Did click, crunch, a low, electric hum. Then silence. They were surrounding the bunker. Evan lowered his body, moving into a defensive stance. Lyra, stay behind me. If something happens, run. Lyra shook her head. I won't leave you again. Before he could argue, something heavy slammed against the outside door. Once, twice, then a third. Time, harder than before. Dust rained down from the ceiling. A voice echoed from outside. distorted through a speaker. Prototype 01. You belong to us. Do not resist. Lyra's hands trembled. She took a step back, pressing herself against the stone wall. Her glowing veins brightened until her entire arm shimmered like liquid light. I don't want to belong to anyone, she whispered, fear mixing with anger. The door shook violently again. Evan raised his rifle. Lyra, I'm going to distract them. When I open the door, run to the east side of the forest. There's a ravine. No. Lyra grabbed his arm, surprising him with her strength. If you fight, I fight. Before Evan could reply, the metal door bent inward with a loud screech. A second hit, and it finally burst open, flying off its hinges and crashing across the bunker floor. Through the doorway stepped 3 armored soldiers. Their suits were black with glowing red lines, each mask shaped like a smooth, emotionless face. They carried long energy spears that crackled with blue lightning. The lead soldier raised a device shaped like a claw. Stand down, Prototype, it ordered. Return to containment. Lyra stepped behind Evan instinctively. Her body shook, the nanotech inside her reacting to their presence. Evan fired first, a bright plasma shot hitting the lead soldier square in the chest. It didn't even stop him. The soldier staggered slightly, absorbed the hit, then moved forward. Evan muttered, well, that's new. 2 more soldiers rushed in. One swung its spear at Evan. He dodged, rolling behind a crate. The spear cut through the crate like it was made of air. Lyra gasped, her hand rising on instinct. A wave of blue energy pulsed from her fingertips, small at first, then stronger. The energy hit the soldier nearest to her, sending him flying backward into the wall. Evan froze. Lyra, how did you? I don't know, she cried. It just happened. But she no longer looked powerless. The glow around her brightened, floating like mist. The lead soldier turned toward her. Unstable readings detected. Neural override initiating. Before he could press a device on his wrist, Lyra screamed, a wave of bright blue energy erupting from her body, knocking all 3 soldiers into the walls. Evan shielded his eyes from the blast. When the light faded, Lyra fell to her knees, exhausted, steam rising from her skin. Evan ran to her. Lyra, are you okay? She nodded weakly. I think so. But that power, it hurts. Before Evan could respond, a deep robotic voice echoed from outside the bunker. Stand down, humans. I will collect the prototype myself. Evan looked up sharply. A massive figure entered the bunker doorway, twice the size of the other soldiers. Its armor was thicker, reinforced with glowing red plates. 4 mechanical arms extended from its back, holding different weapons, a cannon, a blade, a net launcher, and a glowing needle-like tool, the Omega Hunter. One of the deadliest machines in the galaxy. Evan whispered. Of all the days. The Omega Hunter scanned the room, target identified, capturing. In one smooth movement, the giant machine fired its net launcher. Evan shoved Lyra aside, taking the hit himself. The electric net wrapped around him, sending painful shocks through his body. He fell, unable to move. Evan. Lyra screamed. The Omega Hunter turned toward her. Prototype 01, return. Lyra's fear turned into anger, a quiet, burning anger. She stood slowly, her skin glowing brighter with every breath. Evan struggled weakly. Lyra, don't lose yourself. Lyra placed her hand on her chest. The glow grew so bright, it lit the entire bunker. No, she whispered. I won't let you take me. She lifted her hand, and the air around it twisted, as if bending to her will. Blue lightning formed around her fingers. The Omega Hunter charged. Lyra unleashed her power. A shockwave tore through the bunker, ripping metal from walls and sending crates flying. The Omega Hunter was thrown backward, smashing against the stone doorway. The other soldiers collapsed, their armor flickering. Evan, trapped in the net, watched in awe. Lyra stood tall, her hair floating as if underwater, her eyes glowing like stars for a moment. She looked unstoppable, but then she collapsed. Her glow faded instantly. Evan shouted her name, struggling against the net as the Omega Hunter slowly rose again. This fight wasn't over, not even close. Evan forced his body to move even though the electric net burned against his skin. He had been shocked before, beaten before, nearly killed before, but watching Lyra collapse was a pain sharper than any injury. The Omega Hunter rose again. Its metal plates cracked but regenerating with red sparks. Its glowing eyes fixed on Lyra's unmoving body. Prototype unstable, it announced. Capture required before full system collapse. Evan growled, pushing against the net with everything he had. Stay away from her. The machine ignored him completely and stepped toward Lyra. But Lyra wasn't completely unconscious. Her fingers twitched. Her chest glowed faintly. Evan saw it, a weak pulse of blue light, like a heartbeat struggling to stay alive. Before the Omega Hunter could reach her, a sudden tremor shook the entire bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling. Cracks spread across the walls. A deep rumbling echoed from beneath the floor. The Omega Hunter paused. Unknown seismic activity detected. Source: below. Evan didn't care about the floor, the tremor, or anything else. He ripped at the electric net again, ignoring the pain. Lyra, wake up, please. Another tremor, stronger than before. And then the floor beneath Lyra opened, not like a crack, not like a collapse. It opened mechanically, sliding apart in 6 perfect sections, revealing a glowing chamber below. It was circular, metallic, and filled with symbols Evan had never seen, symbols that matched the ones on Lyra's nanotech scan. The Omega Hunter stepped back. Primary core awakened. Extraction protocol updated. Evan's eyes widened. What core? Before he could finish, a soft mechanical voice rose from the glowing chamber. Prototype 01. Return home. Lyra's eyes snapped open, glowing brighter than ever. She gasped as the energy around her surged. Evan? I can hear it, she whispered weakly. It's calling me. He crawled closer despite the net still shocking him. Don't listen to it. You're not theirs. But Lyra's body was already moving on its own. The nanotech inside her answered the call. Her arms lifted, her hair floated, and blue light traced the shape of her veins. She hovered above the floor, drawn toward the chamber like a magnet. No! Evan shouted. Lyra, fight it! The Omega Hunter extended its mechanical arms. Assist with integration. Evan lost it. He bit down against the pain, twisted his body, and rolled just enough to reach a broken metal pipe. With all the strength he had left, he smashed the pipe into the net's energy node. Sparks exploded. The net flickered, then collapsed. The moment he was free, he sprinted toward Lyra, but the chamber responded. A force field burst outward, throwing him across the room. He hit the wall hard, coughing as he landed. He tried to get up, but the force pushed him down again, like a giant invisible hand. Lyra floated above the glowing chamber, suspended between life and something else. The mechanical voice spoke. Again louder. Prototype resurrection. Phase 2. Phase 2? Evan's heart pounded painfully. Lyra, you are not a machine. You are not theirs. Lyra's eyes filled with tears, tears that glowed faint blue. Evan, I don't want to become something else. You won't. He yelled. I'm right here. Fight it. The Omega Hunter raised a weapon and aimed at the chamber. Integration unsafe. Prototype malfunction. Prepare termination. Termination. Evan's blood turned cold. No, no. He shouted, grabbing his rifle. With no time to think, he fired non-stop at the Omega Hunter's weapon. Sparks burst from the machine as it staggered. The chamber reacted again, but this time differently. A hologram formed above Lyra, a female figure made of pure blue light. But her face looked exactly like Lyra. Evan stared in shock. What is that? Lyra whispered. That's the voice. The one I heard in the darkness. The hologram spoke with calm, emotionless clarity. Your death triggered emergency. Reconstruction. You were selected. You are the first successful hybrid. Hybrid. Evan felt the word stab into his chest. Lyra looked terrified. Reconstruction? I was rebuilt? Yes, the hologram answered. Your body was destroyed, but your mind survived long enough for integration. You belong to the core now. No, Lyra whispered, shaking her head. No. I belong with him. Her glow intensified, pushing against the force pulling her down. The hologram flickered. Resistance detected. Emotional interference strong. More tremors shook the bunker as the core struggled. The Omega Hunter stood again, preparing another shot. Evan ran toward Lyra, knowing if the hunter attacked again, it might kill her. But before he reached her, a shockwave erupted from Lyra's chest. Blue energy exploded outward, ripping the forest apart above them, splitting the bunker walls, and sending the Omega Hunter flying through the air. Evan shielded his face, but still felt the blast burn across his skin. When it finally faded, the chamber closed, the hologram disappeared, and Lyra collapsed into Evan's arms. She was breathing fast, glowing dimly, trembling heavily. Evan, she whispered, voice breaking. I'm afraid. They want to turn me into something I'm not. He held her tight. Then we'll stop them. I swear we will. But as he looked into her glowing eyes, he realized the truth. Her body was changing faster now. And if they didn't find answers soon, Lyra might disappear forever, replaced by whatever the core was creating. The bunker was collapsing piece by piece. Cracks spread across the walls. Dust floated like smoke, and sparks rained from broken wires above. Evan held Lyra tightly as the last pulse of blue energy faded from her skin. She looked exhausted, almost fragile, but the glow under her veins still moved like a silent storm. Evan, she whispered, trembling, I didn't mean to release that power. He brushed a strand of glowing hair from her face. You saved us, that's what matters. But he knew the truth. Her body was becoming unstable. Every time she used her power, more of the machine inside her awakened, and more of Lyra slipped away. Before they could speak again, a low metallic roar echoed from outside. The Omega Hunter, though damaged, was not destroyed. The blast had thrown it back into the forest, but not ended it. Evan cursed under his breath. We need to move, now. He lifted Lyra to her feet, and together they ran out of the bunker just as another tremor shook the ground. The entire roof caved in behind them. The night outside was chaos. Trees uprooted, earth split. The sky filled with drifting blue dust from Lyra's explosion. Lyra stumbled, gripping Evan's arm. Something is coming, something bigger than the hunter. Evan scanned the forest, rifle ready. What do you mean? She touched her chest. The core awakened. So now its guardians are waking too. Before Evan could respond, boom, a massive shockwave blasted through the trees. The Omega Hunter charged into the clearing, its armor cracked and glowing hot with red fire. One of its mechanical arms was ripped off, wires dangling, but it still stood tall, silent, unstoppable. Its voice boomed through the clearing. Terminate prototype. Terminate human interference. Lyra stepped back. Evan, stay behind me. Evan shook his head. No way, I'm not losing you. The hunter raised its cannon arm. Evan fired first, a plasma shot hitting the machine's chest. But the hunter barely flinched. It fired its cannon in return, sending a red beam across the clearing. Evan rolled, pulling Lyra with him. As the blast melted a crater into the ground. Lyra gasped. I can feel the machine inside me responding. It wants to fight back. Then let it, Evan said. Lyra shook her head. No, if I give it too much control, I might not come back. Evan froze. She wasn't scared of dying. She was scared of becoming something not her. The hunter lunged forward, grabbing Evan with its remaining mechanical arm. It lifted him like a toy and slammed him against a tree. Lyra screamed, "Nitrogen monoxide!" Blue fire erupted under her skin, brighter than ever before. Her feet lifted off the ground as the nanotech activated fully. "Release him!" She cried. She spread her hands, and a wave of blue light shot forward, striking the hunter's metal arm. The blast melted it instantly, freeing Evan. He fell to the ground coughing, but alive. The hunter turned toward Lyra. Prototype energy levels. Critical. Begin forced shutdown. It fired a series of needles from its hidden launcher, each tipped with a red blinking device. Lyra tried to dodge, but 2 needles hit her shoulders. Her glow flickered violently. Evan ran to her. "Lyra!" She fell to her knees, breathing hard. "Evan, the needles. They're draining me." The hunter marched toward her, each step shaking the ground. Termination imminent. Evan grabbed a fallen metal beam, charged forward, and swung it with all his strength. It slammed into the hunter's head, cracking one of its glowing red eyes. The machine turned toward him. Human. Threat level upgraded. Evan's heart pounded. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't fast enough. But he would rather die than let them take her. Before the hunter could strike, Lyra stood again, slowly, painfully, but determined. Her eyes glowed pure white now. Her voice was soft but unshakable. "You won't touch him." Her entire body erupted with blue energy. The needles pushed themselves out of her skin. The ground beneath her cracked like ice breaking. She floated into the air. The hunter raised all remaining weapons toward her, but it was too late. Lyra extended her hand. The world turned blue. A silent shockwave spread outward, freezing the hunter's systems. Red sparks burst across its body. Its weapons overloaded. Its core ignited from the inside out. And then boom. The Omega Hunter exploded into pieces, fire lighting the forest. Like a second sun, Lyra collapsed again, her glow fading dangerously low. Evan caught her mid-fall. She felt lighter, too light, as if she were disappearing bit by bit. Her voice shook. "Evan, I can't do this again. Every time I use that power, I lose control." Evan held her close, his voice breaking. "Then I'll help you control it. You're not alone." Lyra looked at him with tired eyes. "There's one more thing you must know. The hunter was not the last. The core, it sent a message." "What message?" She swallowed hard, her voice barely above a whisper. "The real enemy is coming." Evan's blood ran cold. What enemy? Lyra looked up at the sky as the stars dimmed, as if something massive was blocking the heavens. "The ones who built me." The forest was silent again, but it was not the peaceful silence from before. This silence felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Smoke drifted from the ruins of the Omega Hunter, glowing faintly in the moonlight. The ground was cracked, trees were split, and blue dust floated around them like dying stars. Evan held Lyra tightly in his arms. Her glowing veins faded with every second, shrinking back under her skin like frightened light. "Lyra, stay awake," he whispered urgently. Her head rested weakly against his shoulder. I'm trying." Her voice sounded thinner than before, not weak but distant, like she was speaking from somewhere far inside herself. Evan looked around the forest. They could not stay here. The Omega Hunter was only one machine. And Lyra's last words still echoed in his mind. "The ones who built me are coming." He stood slowly, lifting her with him. Her feet barely touched the ground. She was becoming lighter, too light for a normal body, too light for a living person. "Evan," she whispered again. "Something is wrong. I feel empty." He tightened his grip. "No, you're going to be fine. We're going to fix this. I'll find a way." Lyra gave a sad, tired smile. "You always try to protect everyone. And I'm starting with you," he said. But before he could take another step, the sky changed. The stars dimmed. The moonlight softened. A circular shadow expanded across the heavens, like a dark eclipse swallowing the night. Evan froze. "Lyra, is that them?" She swallowed. "Yes, the architects." The word felt ancient, heavy, powerful, as if it didn't belong to normal speech. A low hum vibrated through the forest, shaking leaves and sending ripples through the air. Above them, the dark shape grew clearer. Not a ship, not a creature, but something in between. A colossal structure floating like an island of metal and light. Then a smaller shape descended from it, a glowing sphere the size of a house. It drifted downward silently, stopping above the clearing. A voice emerged, not from speakers, but from the air itself. "Prototype 01, return for final integration." Lyra clutched Evan's hand. "No, please. I don't want to go with them." Evan stepped in front of her. "She's not your property." The voice ignored him completely. "Your reconstruction is incomplete. Fusion unstable. Return or be terminated." Lyra's legs buckled. She fell, breathing fast. Her veins flickered like dying lights. "Evan, they're shutting me down." He kneeled beside her, holding her face gently. "Lyra, look at me. Don't listen to them. You belong here, with me." Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "I don't want to disappear." "You won't," Evan said fiercely. "I won't let them take you." The sphere descended lower. A beam of cold white light shot down and wrapped around Lyra like a cage of energy. She screamed, her body lifting helplessly into the air. "Stop!" Evan yelled, jumping forward to grab her hand, and he did. He caught it. Her glowing fingers locked with his, the beam pulling her upward, Evan pulling downward. "Evan, let go. It's hurting you." She cried. "Never!" He shouted through gritted teeth. The architect's voice vibrated the ground. "Human interference detected. Prepare elimination." Energy sparks blasted around Evan, cutting his skin, burning his arms, but he didn't release her. Not this time. Not ever again. Lyra's eyes filled with horror. "Evan, your body can't take this." "I don't care," he yelled. "I'm not letting you die." Her body flickered again. Flicker, flicker, like her existence was being erased. "No," she whispered. "I don't want to fade." She looked at Evan, truly looked, and something changed in her eyes. A decision formed inside her, stronger than fear, stronger than the nanotech, stronger than the architect's control. "Evan," she whispered, tears glowing like blue stars. "Thank you for giving me something to live for." A soft blue light spread from her chest to her fingertips. Evan felt warmth rushing into his hand, warm, alive, almost human. Lyra smiled. A real, peaceful smile. And then she pulled her hand away. The beam swallowed her instantly, dragging her upward in a burst of blinding light. "Lyra!" Evan screamed, running forward until the force threw him back into the dirt. When the light faded, she was gone. The sphere rose slowly toward the shadowed ship. Evan struggled to stand, shaking violently. "Give her back," he whispered. "Give her back." The architect's voice filled the clearing one last time. "Prototype 01 has chosen termination. Life restored." Evan froze. Termination? Life restored? What did that mean? Before he could think, a soft hand touched his shoulder. Again he turned. His breath stopped. There she stood, not floating, not glowing violently, not half machine, but alive, fully alive. Her skin looked warm, human soft. The glow in her veins was gone. Her eyes, still silver, reflected only the moons, not machines. Lyra smiled gently. "Hello again, Evan." He walked slowly toward her, afraid she might vanish again. "Lyra, are you real?" She nodded. "Yes, the machine part of me is gone. I chose life, not integration. The architects removed the nanotech and let me stay as who I truly am." Evan felt his chest tighten with relief. You came back." She stepped closer and wrapped her arms around him. "I told you. You said goodbye too early." He held her tightly, the world quiet again. The night soft and calm. The architect's ship faded into the sky, leaving only two figures in the clearing. A human and the girl he refused to let go. Lyra whispered, "Now, let's live our own story." And together, they walked into the rising dawn, no longer prototype and protector, but two souls finally free.